Hey everybody, and welcome to Monday Night Muscle. I'm here with Sugar Sean Ray, and our guest today, none other than Mr. Olympia himself, Brandon Curry from his home office in Tennessee.
Welcome.
Hello.
I'm trying to see what it says on your shirt. What are you wearing there?
Yeah, what is?
This is the sole premise. We're partnering with my bag line with this company here.
Wait, this is a business plug, Brandon. Let's do it correctly. What do we got? What do we got going on?
Yeah, right.
The whole premise is a company I partner with a bag line. You know, the duffel bag I showed up with the Olympia, some of the bags I was carrying around.
Oh,
part of my bag line.
Me and Bob
we
thought you were coming into the press conference with your food in that bag.
I tell you what, that bag was big enough to sneak a sandow into it. I know that. So.
I thought that's where it was going to wind up. So it's a bag that is a multi-purpose bag company that you work with?
Yeah, good travel bag. All the shoe guys from the NFL athletes, baseball players, tend to use these bags because it's got several shoe compartments. One of those bags you can just basically pack up and just take with you on a quick trip. You don't have to check it. It can go in the airplane and whatnot. Substantial size. We have roller bags, duffels, standard backpacks. You got the little fanny pack, little setup as well. It's just a real unique, real nice leather, high quality bag.
Well, Bob and I wouldn't know because we never got the Christmas present that you forgot to send us. But we're going to make sure you get our address so that we can actually hold it up here, put it on display, and do the promos.
Well, if Anthony's watching, a note to Anthony. You heard it from Sean Ray and Bob yourself.
That's part of the perks that we get for doing this.
We
stuff,
travel. We give out the advices around here.
That's right. So Brandon,
I'll make sure he watches this episode for sure.
So Brandon, we're on a short year here. This last year, everybody knows, was a little strange, a little different. Olympia almost didn't happen.
Right.
Thank God it did. Moved it over to Orlando, but Olympia stage is an Olympia stage, my friend. And you came in smoking hot up in that first call out, deck stacked this year. For all the negative that you got off their first win of, well, he didn't beat anybody. Well, there wasn't anybody there. Well, the lineup wasn't great.
2019.
Guess what? Yeah, we got a great lineup this year, and all of a sudden you got Big RAMY, and you got Phil Heath making his return, and William Bonac.
It's 2020.
Dexter making his final, appearance and all that kind of stuff.
And Labrada making his intro. You had a lot of casts of some interesting characters going into the show.
Now, even though you didn't win, obviously, and that's what you were looking for, you had to get some satisfaction out of the placing that you did get, and of course, putting Phil Heath behind you was no small feat either.
Well, yeah, the goal going into this competition was to definitely take out Phil Heath. I thought it would be him as us two vouching for the title for sure. So we planned a strategy to do just that. We accomplished that, but we didn't accomplish the win. So just as my bodybuilding career has always been, it's just more work to do. So we'll be, we're strategizing for this year to take out the champ for this year.
Well, I gotta think it's definitely got to be redeeming that you did take him out, because a lot of the naysayers felt that you got a title in his absence. So that had to feel a little redemptive. I mean, listen, we've always thought, Bob and I, that if Big RAMY nails it, I got to imagine you probably too, if Big RAMY nails it on the day, he's going to be a hard one to beat. And of course, he was slowly coming up the ranks the same way you were. When RAMY got second place in 2017, we saw RAMY coming, and it was just a matter of timing for him and getting his conditioning right. But what we didn't think we were ever going to see was you going head to head with the title against Phil Heath. I mean, we were all holding our collective breath that you didn't get hurt, that he didn't get hurt. This is the contest we're looking for. And of course, Big RAMY was the spoiler, and you did what you were supposed to do. Listen, there wasn't a lot of criticism. We just interviewed Rich Gaspari, and clearly he says maybe your weakness was your legs, but whose legs are not weak standing next to Big RAMY's?
Good point.
But that being said, now you got to deal with the rest of the lineup, and from my perspective, you had Phil Heath beat from the beginning. I mean, Phil's 3D dimensional walkout is very impressive. At first blush, Phil Heath looked like he hadn't missed a beat, but as the show went on, it clearly became a closer two-man contest between you and Big RAMY in terms of apples and oranges, whereas Phil kind of faded a little bit, and some people actually had Hadi Chupin maybe beating Phil. You were there for the battle. You showed up for this, and there were some side things going on. We saw some of the banter back and forth on social media where Phil Heath's army came out gunning for you. Did you pay attention to any of that noise? Because you're a pretty mellow type of a guy.
I caught a little bit of it. Of course, I like entertainment, so I like to pay attention to some of that stuff from time to time, just to see what's going on in people's heads. I enjoyed just the opportunity to compete against Phil Heath. I enjoyed the up and coming. I was hoping that, he would be more active and stuff in attacking and challenging me up into the show, because that's only going to motivate me. But he kind of stayed a little bit quiet. He didn't show us anything before the show, so we kind of had to wait on the surprise to come to the stage. But yeah, it wasn't going to rattle me. Anything he said, anything he was going to do, I was going to look at it as something for the fans, something for us to enjoy and remember for years to come.
What's fun to watch, Brandon, is for those of us that know you personally, you can tell you get a kick out of this stuff. You don't take any of it personal. Most of it, I think, you just find really amusing for the most part. And I see your engagements with some of the fans and the people. You always conduct yourself as a gentleman, as a champion, which is to be applauded. You don't get rattled, but it is fun to kind of watch you as we know you to engage with people in the back and forth. You get right into it with them, though. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, you shouldn't take social media and all this kind of stuff too seriously. It's just another form of entertainment, another form of, a way to occupy yourself when you're bored. And that's what I use it for. When I'm bored, I like to respond to the fans and, and pick their brains, mess with them a little bit. And, everybody coming on my page with I don't know what kind of chips on their shoulders or whatever they have. It's interesting to me that people will come on my page and waste their time if they're not fans and they're not supportive and they just want to be criticizing. Yeah. I just find it very amusing because I don't do that kind of stuff in my spare time. Well, I don't go find people to go criticize. So I think it's unusual, but I do enjoy it because it gives me something to do in between times.
Well, I imagine with your army of children, I believe you got 4.
He has no spare time.
You don't have any spare time. And it had to be a different journey because, again, you distance yourself from your family. You sacrifice a lot in order to do this sport, which has been very good to you, I might add. I remember we talked a long time ago going back to Tampa where I was almost considering finding a new hobby, so to speak, and then somewhere you found the gumption to win the Arnold Classic over in Australia. Then you won the Arnold Classic at America. You won the New Zealand Pro Championships. Did you win the show over in Italy, the San Marino Pro over there, or you got second?
No, I didn't win the San Marino.
You won the Ferrigno Classic? Ferrigno Classic?
Yep. The week before that one.
Yeah, I mean, I witnessed a lot of your victories, and it was very steady. You were not an overnight sensation. And getting second in the Olympia was also still uncharted waters for you, because literally you went from, I believe, 5th place to 1st place, right, to 2nd. Right. So it's not a bad place to be. You joined some very good company getting 2nd place in the Olympia. Well, Phil Heath has also been 2nd in the Olympia, a lot of the great ones. So with the victory comes the spoils, but how does it feel? Now you know who you got to beat, and you've beaten them before. You did put the legacy of Phil Heath behind you. I'm not sure if Phil Heath is done. He hasn't made any special announcements, but you did silence the naysayers that what they thought was impossible, you made possible, and you got to beat a guy that you've beaten before. What is the strategy going into 2021?
Well, the strategy is to be bigger. The name of the game has kind of changed a little bit with the standard. Big Ramy's coming in, and he's big. So in order to stay next to him, I just need to bring a little bit more fullness to the physique. Still bring the conditioning tight, but we just need to be a little bit fuller, downstairs specifically and upstairs. So I just need to hold on to it. So I just don't thin out too much, just trying to get too shredded going into the contest. Phil Heath, I was steadily just worried about conditioning, and that's it. Mm-hmm. But Big Ramy, I have a different game. We have a different strategy, and we just will bring the fullness and the detail. And he's big, but he has some weaknesses. So I don't think this is a big of a mountain to climb as beating Phil Heath was in my mind. So we just got to just restructure everything, prepare, and get this food in. Well,
Brandon, you're known as the guy in the industry who calls it the way he sees it. You're very forthright with your thoughts. You don't seem to sugarcoat anything. Were you pleased with what you brought to the table, or is it just simply a matter of that Big Ramy just nailed it?
I was pleased with the level of conditioning. But that's not my preferred look. Uh-huh. I like to be fuller, Right. I do like to be fuller. I like to be rounder. That's just my personal preference. But I was willing to sacrifice what I like, in order to push myself into a new boundary, in order to, do what I was set out to do, was beat Phil. Yeah. But me coming in fuller, me coming in rounder, it's just different, and I like that look on me. And that's what we'll do. We've already set some of the plan out. The meal, and of course the meal plan has been laid out already, and we're just getting going, kind of getting in the groove. getting the training in, just healthy right now. So, it's going real good right now, and we got some time to just kind of just cruise on in. So
we're in the month.
I'm really looking forward to this year.
We're in the month of March. How long was the layoff? Because the Olympia happened right before the holidays and, of course, before the New Year. How long did you take off, and did you really take off?
Yeah, I was out of the gym big time. I don't think I went to the gym for a couple months. No, I just went in there maybe one day to do cardio, and I went in there to go to an event. We have a freak night on first Fridays of every month. So I went in to say hi to the bodybuilding community.
Did you say freak night? They have freak?
Yeah,
freak night. Hold on. Let's explain to Bob what freak night is. Freak night for me back in the 80s was different than probably what it is
Yeah,
now.
you're going to have to explain this one,
What's
bro.
the freak night at the
My
gym?
mind's all over the place right about now.
Well, what we do, we basically open our gym doors to invite what we call all the freaks in. Come in. Nobody has to pay that night for a couple of hours, and they come in and enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the community with one another and challenge each other and push each other. So,
okay, help me out here. You got to explain what a freak is, because maybe the definition for freak for me at my age, mine and Bob's, our definition of freak night is a little bit different. What do the freaks look like?
Anybody that would be in the gym on a Friday night
That's a freak.
is a gym freak.
Okay,
it's a gym freak.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going back to like 1989. Freak,
it's a different
freak night out was a whole different animal.
A little bit different, yeah, man.
It had nothing to do with barbells and dumbbells.
Are we talking about your gym? Because you opened it.
Freaky girls.
You opened up a gym. Are we talking about your gym, or is it another gym?
Yeah, my gym.
Tell us about the gym.
It'd be a little freaky if you just opened up somebody else's gym to everybody.
That's a freaky gym there.
That's the freak
Tell
part.
us about your gym, because I think the last time we had you on in 2020, it was a little bit different. So now we're in your gym, which you really didn't get to spend time in because you were over in Kuwait. Yeah. Tell us about the gym there in Tennessee, where it's at, how big is it, what's going on?
Well, we opened the Franklin facility in Franklin, Tennessee. That was the first one we opened in 2020, and then in the summer, this past summer, we opened the one in Murfreesboro, which is closer to where I am. It's more of a bodybuilding, hardcore style gym. The first gym, we do have a free weight room. We have it a hardcore setup, but we also have an area for we do classes and stuff like that. We run C40 right now, which is really popular in that area. So we're getting that started, and we're doing some remodeling to the facility as well, because we took over a CrossFit facility just to start that side of the business.
What's C40? I don't know. I've been out of the loop. I haven't been in the gym in a while. What's C40?
C40 is something we created.
Okay.
It's basically a different levels of different classes for a community of people to train together.
Okay.
And we have different instructors. You may have a bar class. You may have something that's more similar to CrossFit, but it's basically 40 minutes of group training. In the community of Franklin, that's very, very popular.
Okay.
So we decided to offer that service within the gym, as well as a substantial free weight room. In Murfreesboro, we do, it's more of a hardcore community for bodybuilding. So we don't do the classes quite there, but we're well equipped for all the bodybuilders coming in. Matter of fact, we'll be running a seminar this weekend for anybody who's paying attention with Lane Norton. Lane Norton's coming, and he's educating. We'll have people like John Meadows, of course, too, coming the next month to educate. So we bring a community of education as well in the gym, and give an opportunity for people to learn and to grow. And that's what we wanted to bring.
Well, I'm going to bring Bob to Murfreesboro. Is that what you call it?
Murfreesboro.
I'm going to bring him down there, and we're going to actually partake in one of the classes and report back here on Monday Night Muscle. I want to see if Bob can survive the class, first of all, and I want to make sure you're in town.
Those classes are serious. Those classes are serious, and we do a free class on the weekend as well.
Okay.
We have a weekend class where people can come and just for kicks and train in the class for free. So
what's the name of the gym?
We try to bring the community in.
What's the name of the gym?
Carbon Culture.
We're coming for Freak Night.
We're coming for Freak Night, and don't be surprised when we come rolling up, because we're coming unannounced.
Yeah, we're the freaks. The freaks come out at night.
We are going to be there.
So, all right, Brandon, I got to get into the strategy from this past Olympia. All right, we're gonna pre-name it now. We'll be stuck between a rock and a hard place. Right back after this commercial break. All right, back with the champ. Brandon Curry is in the house here at Monday Night Muscle. So, Sean, before the break, I have coined this.
Yes.
You forgot already.
What was that?
Stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place.
So
yes.
Brandon has to put. Now this is kind of interesting to me. So this past Olympia, Brandon has to devise a strategy to take on a returning 7-time Olympian in Phil Heath, arguably one of the greatest of all time, and Big Ramy. Okay? The very strategy that propels him over Phil Heath ultimately might have been what cost him the win against Big Ramy. So it's kind of an interesting dichotomy. But who else finds himself in this position where you got a 7-time Mr. No on one side and Big Ramy on the other?
I'm curious to know whether or not Brandon even considered Big Ramy in the same breath, knowing...
We can ask him that. He's right here.
Well, knowing that William Bonac was the reigning defending Arnold Classic champion and that Dexter was second to him, and of course Big Ramy was a distant third, because that Arnold Classic that same year was really Dexter and William, whereas Big Ramy wasn't in the conversation. Did you see Big Ramy surprising everybody at the Olympia or not?
Nah, Big Ramy was honestly an afterthought.
Yeah.
I know he didn't even technically qualify for the Olympia, and he got the special invite. So I really didn't expect, with all this, mishaps that he went through, that he was going to come in on point.
Yeah.
I just didn't expect it. And, he surprised us. That's just how it went. So, surprised me, surprised everybody. But, that's just 1 year.
I think one of the bigger surprises was that Rolling Winkler didn't show up.
Right.
I mean, that was 11th hour. He was en route. He was in Istanbul.
He was in Turkey. Yeah.
And I guess he got stopped there. He had the wrong visa stamp, and he actually tested positive for COVID on top of that, and he didn't make it. Bob was talking about guys trying to compete against Big Ramy, bringing up their weak I don't want to call it weak points, but bringing up their legs to compete. Rolling Winkler tried to do the same thing. And getting ready for the Arnold Classic one year, he wound up getting hurt towards hamstring.
We just interviewed Richie Gasperi, who obviously you know very well, and did a whole bunch of second places to Lee Haney. But one of the stories he had, Sean, was when he was trying to match Lee Haney to beat him, he went up in weight, and it didn't help him.
Didn't help.
It rarely helps anybody. So I think anybody chasing, your strategy, to your credit, Brandon, was the correct one. You were gunning for Phil Heath, who should absolutely be the guy you're gunning
apples
for,
to
right?
Apples, right.
Big Ramy, God bless him, and he's done exceedingly well, has not been the most consistent guy over the last 5 years, so you never know really what version of him's coming. So I think you nailed it pretty dead on. If Big Ramy ain't there, if he ain't 100%,
you're Mr. Olympia.
You're Mr. Olympia again, right?
Right. Well, we did get some feedback from the judges, of course. We talked to got some feedback, and they just wanted me to kind of bring in that more like the 2019 look, just a little bit sharper, I guess. But that's what we'll try to do. We'll bring it a little bit, so it's not too much of it's not going to be too complicated for me, I don't think. I'm just ready for this year.
Well, I'm not sure what banter you heard following prejudging, but people had. You and Phil were battling it out for second place. Like, Phil was supposedly coming off of that prejudging a little bit better. You showed up even better at night, and Phil faded a little bit more at night. I think the extra posing was favoring Brandon over Phil. But had that happened, had Phil snuck in there and got a second place, what would that do to your psyche, losing to Phil Heath? Did you even entertain? I mean, prejudging to finals is a marathon for someone that's battling it out for the title. And when people go around the table and they start asking people opinions, that could be a sleepless night for someone in that precarious situation where some people are telling you, you're the winner, you're second, you're going to be in third, and you hear all of this stuff on Friday night. How do you even get a good night's sleep coming into Saturday? What did you do after Friday night?
Well, after Friday night, I think we just started eating. Went to McDonald's and
wow,
I had quite a bit of food. I will tell you this: going last at the Olympia is it's great, but it's also horrible because as soon as you get off stage, you're doing your compulsory rounds. So you got to go right back in the lineup. So I was dying all the way through prejudging until probably like the last couple call outs. I finally got my win back.
Brandon, as a veteran, I'm going to tell you something that I hope you digest this properly, because as we age like fine wine, Bob,
absolutely,
we see things through a different lens. The best thing that could have happened to you was that you were last, because while you were coming off, catching your breath very briefly, you were fresh and ready to go. Can you imagine going first, and then you got to watch all of those guys do their routine? You're going to totally flatten out and deflate, and then on command, you got to go back out there and make your muscles pop. You were fresh. You came out looking like you were ready to go. I'm glad that you were last, because it put you in our eyes as someone that was fresh and ready to go, and you picked up right where you left off. They did you a favor by making you last. You should hope that you get last again.
Right.
I mean, it may that sounds great, but I was dying.
Yeah.
Every time we walked off stage, I was dying. I came back on stage, I had to put my game face on, but every time I walked off stage, I was literally just trying to recover and hoping I could walk back out and continue to do another round.
Not like there was any pressure, Brandon. I mean, no pressure.
They say you're supposed to feel like you're near death when you're...
He's got Phil Heath breathing down his neck over here. He's got Big RAMY, who comes in his all-time. But listen, you got Hadi Chupan, who jumped off of a plane, and this guy looks fantastic. A lot of people arguably could have had him maybe above Phil. I know they were battling.
Let's address the elephant in the room, okay? Because really, when you are second place, Lee Labrada said it, it's like when they got to the finals of the 1990 Olympia, Lee Labrada said, I'm either going to fly when they announced the name Lee, I'm going to either soar or I'm going to sink.
Right.
Now, mind you, in his mind's eye, he's thinking about the Sandow Trophy and making history for the very first time in his career. You got a taste of what that was like. You had a Sandow comfortably at home. You had that Sandow check, comfortably cash spent on your new gyms or whatever. But there is a big difference between first and second place, from 400,000 to 150,000. So collectively, as a business person, I'm thinking, man, this is going to be the longest wait from Bob calling out, and your next name you hear. Of course, you already are Mr. Olympia. When it wasn't you, I mean, I can't imagine you're sitting there trying to figure out what the taxes are and all of that other good stuff, but that's a big hit, and you got to come back and try to get that back because that prize money is still there. There's got to be an added incentive to make sure you dot the I's, cross the T's, you spend all that time over in Kuwait when that reward is waiting for you.
Yeah, I mean, the money's good, but you know, I'm just competitive, and I want to win. And the money's definitely a great incentive. But you know, I like. Would you like
to see more? Would you like to see more?
Of course.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's what I'm getting at.
I'm not going to turn that down.
Okay.
I'm not going to turn that down by no means. But you know, right now it's just it's still unfinished business, as Phil Heath I think would say. And so this year, you know, I'm coming in, you know, ready to just you know, bring the job. It's another challenge. You know, seems like I'm always battling uphill. So I guess last year was the first time I was actually at the top of the hill. So, you know, I'm very comfortable in this position, and you know, I'm ready for whatever 2020 brings. As long as you know, you keep all this other activities and this pandemic and stuff doesn't do anything crazy.
Brandon, where do you keep the Sandow Trophy? Where's it at right now?
It's behind me.
There we go.
Your back is way too there.
Yeah, you're too big, man. You
See,
know,
if that was Bob's, he'd be sitting on his nightstand next to his bed.
I know, with my alarm clock on it.
It'd be next to him on the pillow.
So, Brandon, you've got unique circumstances here, along with the other Olympians, in that you have a very short year. Like right now, I mean, it's freaky for me to think about. We're 7 months from the Olympics.
Yeah, it's almost
that's
go time.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because we were December, and then boom, you know, we were on the corner here in the off season, and we're already halfway through March. So it's going to be kind of interesting. Will your strategy change in that what you normally do is shoot out to Kuwait, get down there with our good friend Badr Bodai and that world-class collection of oxygen gyms, one bigger than the next. But will you be following that same pattern, or has it changed this year because of the time frame?
You know, the time frame actually would be typically no different. Technically, before the pandemic hit, I was preparing to kind of get going after the Arnold, which is right about now, and take it all the way up into the Olympia. Of course, the pandemic hit, gave us some more time. Yeah. So this would be like a normal year, a little bit later. If I really think about it, as far as my preparation, I get a little bit more time because it's moved back to October, not September, from when I would normally start my prep after the Arnold or whatnot. So it's pretty standard. It's not that much different.
Let me ask you.
I just didn't have maybe the rest time from the Olympia that I normally would have.
Let me present a scenario, because I don't think you've actually done this before, but let's say Kuwait's not on the travel list for you to go to this year. Are you capable of doing what you do within the borders of the United States without going to Kuwait, or is that something you have to do as part of your Olympia journey? Or would you ever decide to just, hey guys, I'm going to find out what I can do without you?
Well, we had to consider that last year. Yeah. So we had a plan A, plan B, and plan C. You know, fortunately for this year, the gym is actually completed. The gym wasn't technically completed last year for me to actually do what I wanted to do home. Mm-hmm. But we did have an alternative location that I could go train and get away and just do my own thing to myself as well, if I didn't want to be around all the responsibilities that I would normally take upon myself when I'm at home. So yeah, we have options, and we still have those options available. I have a great team around me, and they're looking for me to pull this title out as well. So I got a lot of support, and we'll come up and do whatever we have to do. And I have to maybe do some, if we have to do some online coaching. I mean, my coach has experience with some online coaching as well. And he was out here. He came out here with me the week before the Olympia. We trained in my gym for that week. So he was able to get really comfortable with the environment and kind of see what we were working with right before we went to Florida. So it's possible if I can't we can eventually bring him here.
One thing I had to give Big RAMY credit for this year was his posing was so much improved. Where the year before, well, not the year before, but the year before he competed, he was very labored in his posing. You can see he was struggling. He was sucking wind after about the first round. You can see that was paramount to his victory here. You've always been very smooth in your posing. Is that something you actually practice on a routine? Is this something that comes naturally to you? You're very smooth in your transitions, not in the style, but per se, but like let's talk about the mandatories.
It's developed. It's developed in its practice. It's once you've been doing it over and over again, it becomes muscle memory after a while. So, I didn't always start out, being able to do that, but over time, continue to practice, continue to perfect that part of bodybuilding, knowing that if you don't capitalize on the posing part, it's gonna be used against you, and you can't afford those 1 or 2 points or whatever it may be, just because you're not able to display yourself correctly. So it's always something that we work on going into contests. When your coach looks at you every day, you're posing, it seems like all the time. So it's just something that you don't even have to think about. It's something that's a part of your daily preparation.
Brandon, being an owner of your own gym, being in the hunt to recapture the title and make history, which only one Olympia champion's ever done in the form of Jay Cutler, winning the 2007 Mr. Olympia, losing it in 2008 to Dexter Jackson, and then recapturing it in 2009. This is where we start to provide our advices for you, young man. Are you ready? Are you receptive to take advices from the grand wizards over here, the old folks?
I'm turning my ears a little bit. There we go.
So you're a gym owner. You have your own gym. Maybe something a little bit outside the box, but I think it would be kind of cool. You're trying to capture this title again. Take on some sparring partners that have been in the trenches with you, that have gone down that road, and call on the old Lions and Warriors. I could see you calling up Branch Warren and saying, Branch, come train with me for the weekend, the next weekend. Hey, Kevin Veroni, come out here and train with me for the weekend. Hey, Chris Cormier. Hey, Sean Ray. Hey, Bob Chick. I mean, as a gym owner, if I was the guy, and you still got a lot of time, I think that would be kind of cool, an added flavor to your preparation to train with these old KG veterans, to get the advices and absorb all that stuff along with your coach, and maybe see how that would work for you in terms of thinking outside the box. Bring these guys in as sparring partners, either suck them for their wisdom or beat the hell out of them, for your youth and your fitness. You receptive to that?
Hey, that's definitely a good idea. Definitely something that we consider. I'm always having guests out at the gym anyway. May 8th, we'll have a big charity event, Rumble in the Borough. You guys are welcome to come as well.
Is that the weekend of the Pittsburgh Pro? May 8th?
May 8th.
I'm not sure. The Jim Mannion show, is it the same weekend or no?
No, it wouldn't be the same weekend because I got to be at Jim show.
Yeah, there you go.
This is May 8th.
So I'm going to be there. I'm putting it on my calendar. I'll come out there and support it.
If you like to fight, if you like boxing, it'll be a lot of that going on.
You going to set up a ring? They're going to put up a ring in your gym?
Yeah, it's going to be a ring. Actually, we're going to do the whole event. We're going to do a whole event as a parking lot bash.
Wow.
So yeah, it's going to be.
You're not going to put the gloves on. You don't want to mess up the money.
No.
How about you bring me and Bob out for that, and we'll.
There you go. We can.
Yeah.
We'll promote it. Yeah. We'll
promote it.
We'll
sit at the desk.
We got a whole list of people that Sean would like to get in the ring with.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of industry, celebrities coming through, and hopefully they'll like the gym and they'll be willing to come back, and maybe we can get some training sessions in. I mean, anytime anybody comes in town, for the most part, we're getting some training sessions in for the most part, no matter what events that we're having. I mean, I'm going to actually train with Lane tomorrow. Steve was here a couple weeks ago, Steve Kuko.
Oh, yeah.
He got some training in the gym. So,
we noticed a lot of guys opening gyms. Flex Lewis just opened up the Dragon's Lair gym out in Vegas. We'll obviously make the pilgrimage out there to check that out. I know Hidetada Yamagishi's opened a Powerhouse gym now in Las Vegas as well. So a lot of guys getting into the gym business, it seems.
Hey, listen, you know when I'm coming out.
Yeah.
Freak Night.
Freak Night. When is that, by the way?
All over it,
when is Freak Night? This guy's crazy. He wants to come train.
Freak Night is the first Friday of every month.
There you go.
Friday of every month.
Let's go.
Does the Olympia in October sound much sweeter to you than the Olympia weekend in December as a guy chasing the title?
Of course, I think my birthday is the week after, so yeah, it makes it great, and I can celebrate my birthday after. So
Nice.
yeah, definitely.
As Bob always says, he's got shoes older than you.
I
son.
do, yeah. They're yeah. Well, as we were talking about it, the date of the Olympia does make a big difference to people. Like, it had to be torture for you guys this year, because it wasn't until the last minute, really, all things relative, that it got moved to December.
Did that favor you? Or
You know, which is
I mean, I guess it would favor me because you get going right after the Arnold, thinking it's going to be a normal year, and then you got to kind of shut it down because you realize, okay, the world's shutting down.
Yeah.
We obviously got more time. Then you're waiting on the date. They tell you December. You're like, okay, good. We're full go again. Can I make it internationally? Can I get into Kuwait? Luckily or fortunately, I was able to pull some strings and do that. So it's like it was just everything. We were just hoping everything worked out. And fortunately, it did. We'll be doing, doing similar things this year. I don't think it'll be too crazy as last year, but we'll definitely be hoping everything just falls together.
Well, let's not downplay that you are a busy man. You've got the supplement line behind you. Or what am I looking at? The 015.
Yeah.
We're just talking about it.
We got the big old bars. This is behind
nice.
me here. This is the 015 nutrition line.
Nice.
We just came out with our protein big hydro, 2 different flavors, birthday cake and cereal milk.
I got both, and they were very nice. Sorry, Bob. None for you. Sorry. Go ahead, Brandon.
And we got gut formula, happy guts. And,
That's what Bob needs.
I need some gut formula.
What does that do exactly? That like clean you out, or what is it?
Well, you got your probiotics in it, and then we got special rights to core biome, which is if you're not getting your vegetables and that kind of stuff in it, it's going to really, really help you out and help heal that gut and help you digest that food that you're taking in. Along with that, we have expansion, which is our pump formula, and exalt, which is our pre-workout. Got some more stuff coming down the line, but those proteins right now, can't wait for people to start tasting the hydrolyzed big hydro. We put velocitol in it, and it doubles the protein synthesis, so you get more amino acid uptake. And it's something we're really, really proud of. Can't wait for you to hit the market and taste it.
Look at Brandon, the vocabulary, man. It comes. This guy's grown up. You're a long way from winning the USA Championships.
The business of bodybuilding is alive and well in the Curry household. Brandon, we're going to get to this year's Olympian predictions in just a moment. First, this commercial break.
Joe Weider's Olympia here in Orlando, Florida. A little bit strange coming out of Las Vegas for all of those years.
Good evening, and welcome to the event that nearly never happened.
There's been an absence of a particular group of people on this stage that are back tonight. Tonight I'm here to say, welcome back to Miss Olympia.
All right, back with the champ, the business of bodybuilding. Sean, one of our favorite passages in all these years. We try to talk to the young guys, the next generation, about the business. And our critique has always been the same. Most of the guys focus on winning Olympias, getting the titles, doing appearance. But the business stuff never comes till after they retire. You've been saying for years, why don't these guys do this stuff while they're on top?
Yeah, you don't get any higher than where this young man sits. And it's nice to see that you've surrounded yourself with the right crew. And I know there's a lot of people that you probably have to be thankful for. Clearly, he's got his ex-bikini professional wife from Hawaii.
Yeah, his wife takes top notch out of all this stuff.
Keeps the balance and everything.
Let me tell you, Brandon Smart, he thanks her first every single time, right on cue, man. Smart man.
Yeah. You got a pretty good team that you work with, and you're a loyal team. I don't see you changing a whole lot of parts, and they just continue to go down that. You got the gym, you've got the supplements, you've got this hunt for the Sandow that you're now pursuing, that you already have. I mean, it's not a mistake that it's 015. He's the 15th Olympia champion in its 56-year history, Bob.
Well, the bottom line is see, if you notice, Brandon's got the Sandow in the background, but if you remember on stage when he won, I gave the check to his wife. So he's got to keep working and coming up with projects and things, and
that check is up there.
That's the big one. That's not the one you cash. So
you're in Tennessee. It's not the bodybuilding hub. It's not the capital. I don't even know of any bodybuilders that have come out of that.
See, now that's where you be. There's been a lot of good bodybuilders out of Tennessee.
Tell me.
Unfortunately, the late great Dallas McCarver was out of Tennessee.
Oh, that's right. He was big country.
He was from Blue Goose, Tennessee. My man.
And
Blue Goose,
Blue
Goose, Tennessee, big country up
Isn't
there.
Elvis Presley from Tennessee?
Huh?
Elvis
was from, well, not originally, Tupelo, Mississippi.
Tupelo, Mississippi, but he's got Nashville, right? Is it
Graceland, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I got to get up there. So I got some cousins that live not too far from you, but it's been one of my lifelong, I got to get to Graceland at some
We're going to go over to what's it called?
Murfreesboro.
We're going to go to Murfreesboro for Freak Night, and then we're going to go over and check out the Elvis Graceland thing.
You know, Nashville's popping. Nashville's a party scene.
How far is that from where you are?
It's just about 35 minutes away.
All right. So we'll take the room upstairs, do the workout with Mr. Olympia.
I'm in.
We'll eat the 015 bars, and then we'll go do the class and enjoy Freak Night and go over to Graceland.
We'll definitely enjoy Freak Night. But right now, listen, he's got you got 7 months, bro. 7 months.
Yes,
you're going to be backing out. You've been there as a contender. You've been there as a defending champion.
Yeah.
And now you're back to there.
And he's also dead last, I believe. Weren't you dead last in that show before?
Yeah, 2 years in a row.
Listen, if you notice, all great Olympians start out as dead last. Right? Ronnie Coleman was dead last.
Yes, he was.
Jay Cutler was dead last.
Yeah.
Right?
Unfortunately, I didn't come up with those kind of guys. I mean, you had Dorian and Lee Haney.
Right,
they cut the line.
It seems to be the thing. But, you talk about paying your dues. Brandon certainly.
Well, he's the guy that
has
can
been there. But
the title.
it's interesting. But did you see a difference between competing mentally? I'm talking about competing as a contender versus competing as a defender.
Is there a different? It's kind of hard. Even when I was defending the title, all the noise was like making me feel like I was the underdog because Phil Heath was entering the show.
Yeah, true.
So it still felt the same.
Yeah.
It felt like the same. Like
I can see that.
I'm still the underdog, even though I was defending the title.
Which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world.
No.
I think that can probably take some pressure off you, right? I mean, when people are betting against you.
It was something I was far used to. I was so used to it. It's just the same.
Yeah.
So it helped a lot. It's nothing I was nothing unfamiliar with, and I welcomed it. I was like, oh yes, it's great. It's great because it gave me more of that mentality that helped me push me to the top. So
it was interesting at the press conference because Phil had a game face. Phil wasn't smiling. He wasn't. He didn't look like he was there to participate. He looked like he was there to take over. But it was the same way when Sean Roden was there, and he got humbled when Sean Roden beat him.
Yeah.
But he ghosted us afterwards, right? Like, we haven't heard a whole lot. We're waiting on his documentary to come out. I've invited him on the show. Hopefully he'll come on. We want to get into where his mind has been at. But was that an ample finish to a career that was, lightning in a bottle? Or do you think he'll be back? He didn't sign off on the Olympia.
I don't know what's going on in Phil's personal life, but sometimes needs cause you to do things that you have to do. So I don't know where his needs are, and I know competing is something he's very comfortable with. It's a way of him to make income, make money. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's back in action anytime soon.
I tell you, it's an interesting, ever-changing landscape at the Olympia, Sean. Think about this year, right? Let's assume Phil says, I'm not coming back, right? I'm going to call it a day. I'm out. All right, we have no assurance on Sean Roden at this point, so let's just say he's out, right? Mm-hmm. Big Ramy, we know, is coming back. You got, Rulli, hopefully he'll be back if he can get on the right flight.
But
you've got some, Dexter retired.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see, like, somebody's got to fill those spots. Now, you were one of those guys a couple of years ago, Brandon, where people went, watch this guy. Like, he's going to be one of those guys you got to keep your eye on. Who do you keep your eye on? Who's coming up? Is it Kuklo? Is it Labrada? Is it Nathan Diasha? Should he be able to make it back on this side of the pond, or any of these new guys? Who do you see?
Yeah, I mean, I see Nathan doing his thing if he comes back across the pond. Of course, I look at some of even the younger guys like Hunter and Ian. Those guys are young. They got a lot of time ahead of them. I could see them being very, very competitive in the coming years. I look at, let's see who else I'm thinking about that's not older or just as old as me.
Well, two guys and see, Sean thinks all the Canadians have the same name, so we have to.
Yeah.
All right, so there's Antoine Valiant.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And there's Ian Valieri.
There we go.
Ian.
There you go.
Wow. I took
tell
Bob to explain that to me.
Ian was impressive. Actually, Antoine was impressive. I mean, he needs to fill out a little bit, but Ian's one of those underrated guys where I can see him kind of creeping up into there.
Yeah, I can definitely. He's been improving from year to year. Very, very strong guy, very, very intense guy, and he's into it. He's into the disciplines of bodybuilding, and he's going to take it far. I mean, he already coaches an Olympia champion, right? In his Bumstead.
Well, let's fast forward, Brandon. Okay, so I mean, this can't go on forever. Everything has to end at some point. You're a father of 4. You've got a gym. You've got responsibilities with the supplement company. And I'm sure there's a lot of things in life you want to do. Probably watch football with your boys while you're not having to train for the Olympia. How does it end? How do we get out? What's the exit strategy? Can you even entertain that idea while you're trying to recapture the title?
Yeah, right now it's more or less, kind of like how Dexter said, he'll know when it's done. You'll definitely know when you're done.
Well, hell, you got another 20.
And right now I'm still competitive. I'm still competitive. I'm still hungry. But at some point, the boys are going to be a lot busier with football.
Yes.
I mean, you should see the football community that we're building here.
Now, you're how old, Brandon? How old are you now?
He's 11 right now.
How old are you?
I'm 38.
Yeah, so you got another
12 years if you're following the Dexter manual.
Another decade.
Well, no, I'm not following the Dexter manual.
I don't think anybody can follow that.
By no means. But what I'm saying is, we get building a football community here, and it's crazy. Like, I'll leave here, and they're doing special training, and I'll be checking them out. But, we got some great contacts with the national, NPA, which is basically, they work with a lot of guys recruiting and getting these guys in certain places. And the community is growing here. So when my sons, they get to traveling and get to doing a lot more with sports, I may want to have to say I need more time for that.
I'll tell you this, if I could ever envision anybody being a coach, it would be Brandon. You have the discipline, you have the ability to talk with kids and fans. I've seen you interact many times with fans all over the place of all ages. But is that a direction you might think of going down the road? But I can see you coaching all day long, man.
The only reason I haven't coached is because the responsibilities in the bodybuilding.
Because the Olympia, right.
So it's kind of something that I do want to be more involved in some fashion. I don't have to be the head coach or nothing like that, but I would like to have more time, to spend with the kids, motivating them and encouraging them to be the best they can be. I try to do that when I'm around as much as possible, but just doing that as a full-time hobby would be nice.
Well, we're going to be looking for big things from you come this October in Orlando in pursuit of recapturing the title of a Mr. Olympia. I mean, that's a whole nother journey.
It hasn't been done a whole lot, bro.
No, it hasn't been done. We're looking. This is history in the making that we're going to be witnessing. Make sure you send Bob a box of the 015 bars, so he knows what.
Yeah, I got to get your address. I got to get your address, Bob. We'll definitely send you.
I'll take some bars for Freak Night, but
and some happy guts.
He needs the happy guts for sure.
Who's the only guy to recapture the title, Sean?
I told you, Jay Cutler. This guy doesn't listen when I speak.
Cutler.
I don't understand.
Only been done once.
He doesn't listen to history when I'm putting it out there. But nonetheless, we're going to follow your journey. You're going to have some stiff competition, and we know you're not going to take it lightly. We've seen your handiwork in the past. And, of course, it's always a pleasure having number 15 here on the Monday Night Muscle Show. So we're going to look forward to checking back in with you as we get closer to the show.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Appreciate you guys. But, it's about football time for me, and I'm about to watch these boys go to work.
All right, man. Well, thanks for calling in, Mr. Olympia. We'll be in touch. And, Bob, for another edition of Monday Night Muscle, Mr. Olympia Brandon Curry will be back next week right here at Monday Night Muscle.